War Eagle guys, welcome back to Strictly Auburn. We took about 10 days off for Thanksgiving and Iron Bowl and whatnot, but we are back. I'm Jake Lazarus with Connor King, Eli Lingo as usual, and we are joined special guest Jack Corbett. Jack, how we doing?
Thank you all for having me. Doing great. Excited to hop on. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's been a while, so I'm ready.
Well, let's go. Let's start with football because we're kind of done with football, but Hugh Freeze's first year as Auburn head coach. I mean, a disappointing way to end the way the Iron Bowl ended. I don't think we need to relive it, but it was a tough way to end the season. Auburn finished 6-6, headed to a bowl game. Just wanted to shout myself out. I had the right record. But do we think that the 2023 season was successful? Connor, I kind of want to start with you.
I think it was. I think it was a good step in the right direction. There was a lot of winnable games against some really good teams like Ole Miss, Georgia, and Alabama. Of course, we lost all three of those, but we played them much better than last year, so that's a good sign. And then, of course, there's some bad ones like the New Mexico State game and the Cal game early on. But overall, it's a good step in the right direction. We had some big problems earlier in the year, and we figured it all out. So we're bowl eligible. I'm happy with that.
Eli, was there something this season that was like, whether it was quarterback play or coaching, is there something that showed Auburn moving in like a positive direction? Because I think that was our biggest takeaway from the season.
I mean, I think just I think a positive direction was definitely with Hugh Freeze, and maybe not so much with what we saw on the field, but what we saw behind the scenes with recruiting. I mean, he's been an absolute dog with the recruiting aspect of football. He's looking to hopefully sign one of our best receiving classes that we've ever had at Auburn, crossing fingers that we pulled that one off. But yeah, I think the positive is what he's planning on building. He's setting the foundation right now. As we speak, luckily, Jack will get to hopefully see something from that. Me and Jake will not, but that's okay.
I picked the right time to be a freshman.
You definitely did. Me and Jake picked literally the worst time of human existence to be freshmen in college, but that's okay. But I think the positive is definitely the recruiting that Hugh Freeze has brought to Auburn.
Jack, like Eli said, you're a freshman, obviously, so you're a little new to this college football world.
Yeah.
And obviously, this year was a little disappointing, but bright future ahead. What are you most looking forward to moving ahead with this Auburn football program after a 6-6 2023 campaign?
I think I agree with Eli. I love what Hugh Freeze has done in the portal and what he's going to do with future recruits coming in. But I personally was disappointed with this year. I think there were some wins that we had or that we should have had that we didn't grab. And, bowl eligibility is great, but I expected more out of us this season. I think New Mexico State, that should have been a win we had. We were 4th and 31. Don't want to talk about it, but put that out there. Georgia, 1 possession game, 1 touchdown game. I mean, there was a lot of very winnable games this year that we didn't get. But for me, I'm looking forward to 2 years down the road, my junior year. I think that's going to be the year Hugh really puts it all together. And we have a chance to really compete, make that college football playoff, especially on the 12 teams. But expect Auburn in the top 4.
Whoa.
Let's hope so. Holy shit.
It all starts with recruiting, right? It all starts whether it's straight out of high school or especially in the portal. I mean, Auburn last year, were we the top 3 class behind Colorado and somewhere else? I just can't think. But I think we're starting to see the effects of the transfer portal, especially this year, and more so even going into 2024, and especially the rumors that are going to start to speculate. I think if you need a quarterback from the portal, this is probably the greatest year you can possibly need a quarterback. Or wide receivers, Eli, like you were saying. Connor, you were telling me a little bit earlier about some rumors that you were hearing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, the first one, I'm from the 251, so Riley Leonard's a name that we've all been talking about a little bit out of Duke. Obviously, Mike Elko's at A&M, so Riley Leonard's looking for a new home. He's a no-contact transfer portal thing. I don't really know how that works, but I know that teams can't come to him. He's between Notre Dame and Auburn, and he's almost close to 100% crystal ball at Notre Dame, but his girlfriend goes here, so maybe he'll make a last-minute decision to come to the Plains. But realistically, we got Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina. Last year he was all but committed to Auburn. He had some grade problems with the transfer portal and everything, so there's a good chance that he comes and visits again, and we might be able to see Grayson McCall on our depth chart. But besides that, I don't think we need to really focus just on a quarterback. We need to retain some of our guys on the defensive side of the ball and our offensive line. It'd be great to get a receiver or two out of the portal because I have a feeling that a few of our receivers are going to end up transferring out this season. But besides that, just retaining our players and maybe grab another quarterback for our depth chart.
I like that. Eli, I know you're big on the receiver room, especially.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
We're gonna have a guy named Cam Coleman coming.
I hope
Or
so.
no, not yet. I'm sorry, not yet.
We hope.
We just dropped the leak intel. Hold up.
No, I was mixing up names. Mixing up names, my fault. Cam Coleman is a guy that, I mean, Auburn can flip. Can you talk about like the significance of what that would have on this football program, or even just any big name wide receiver?
I mean, yeah. So right now we have Perry Thompson, Bryce Kane, Malcolm Simmons. Those guys are currently committed to Auburn in the 2024 class. But like you just said, Cam Coleman he's right outside. He's in Phoenix City. So if you're not familiar with geographical Alabama, that's like right outside of Auburn. It's like 35, 45 minutes away. So he's a local kid. If we grab him, I mean, he's an NFL receiver. He's got the stature of a NFL receiver. He's a program changer. He's a 5-star, consensus 5-star all around. Like Jake just said, he's a program changer. So if we pick him up, I'm pretty sure that would make Auburn's receiving class the highest rated receiving class in Auburn history. And then another kid to be on the lookout for is Ryan Williams. He's from where me and Connor are from. He goes to my rival high school. But he's a kid that I've never seen a kid like him before, especially coming out of our area. Another 5-star receiver. So be on the lookout for him. He said he's kind of 50-50 right now. He's committed to Bama. So that would be another crazy flip. We flipped Perry Thompson. So be on the lookout for those names. Cam Coleman, definitely program changer. So, yeah.
Perry is recruiting right now, by the way. I see him under all these receivers posts, and he's going.
We all see it. We see
it's
the
Perry.
work.
It's Perry Thompson and it's Walker White. That guy I've never seen by another kid like him recruit the way he does in just high school. I mean, did y'all not see him at the Iron Bowl? He had like a list of 6 kids on the back of his jacket.
Yeah.
That was his Christmas list, his wish list, bro. So he's funny. He's a good guy. He's a really good. I mean, he should probably major in marketing or business because he can sell you anything. He's really good quarterback too. So yeah, they're working hard. This 2024 class is gonna be good.
Jack, what do you got for us on the recruiting, on the transfer portal front? You got any thoughts on what's going on or what will transpire in the next few months?
Yeah, so I'll start with Connor. I think Connor hit the most likely recruit options we could get, especially with our guy from Coastal Carolina. I think there's a good chance he comes down to Auburn. The only other one I saw was Archie Manning, but Auburn was only one school out of about 25 listed. So I don't know how well that's looking. But yeah, with what Eli was talking about, that's what I was saying. Like I'm ready to be around my junior year because that's when we have a really good chance of landing these elite NFL level talents who are coming out of high school. And that's not something you're going to find. That's something you're only going to find at elite level programs in college. So that's why I have the faith in Hugh Freeze's program in 2 years that I do right now.
Yeah. One quick thing, Jake. Another guy to look for in the transfer portal at quarterback, Cameron Ward. That guy is legit. Washington State guy, transferring out of there. If you go look at his stats and check out his film, he can throw it and he can run it too. So that guy should be on our radar. I'm pretty sure we've already reached out to him, but just be on the lookout for that name.
Before we flip the script to basketball, just kind of sticking with this quarterback talk, because I kind of like it. If Peyton Thorne is on the roster come summer of next year, and there's a transfer that comes in TBD on who or from where, is Peyton the kind of guy? Give me just one sentence. Is he the kind of guy that can lead this program to success in 2024? Connor, I'll start with you.
Yes, I don't think it matters what quarterback it is besides Riley Leonard. He will compete for the starting job. I think Peyton Thorne is a great quarterback, and whoever comes in is going to be a great quarterback battle.
Eli?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you saw from this season is a lack of receiver talent on our team, and I think Peyton Thorne did enough he could do with what he had to win a couple of games. And I think if you put Perry Thompson or Cam Coleman in some of those positions against Georgia and even Alabama, and we see those guys make plays, we win those games. So I think, Peyton Thorne's going to compete.
Jack?
Yeah, I agree with Eli on this one. I think with our receiver depth this year, we had a lot of good guys, Jay Fair and Rivaldo Fairweather, but we didn't have a great talent that we could go to, absolutely reliable, that we know we could go make a play. So I think once Peyton Thorne has that in his arsenal, has that ability to find a receiver that he knows can go up and make a play, I think he's easily a great candidate for the starting job.
I'm kind of on the fence because while I do think there was a talent gap, and obviously I think we said it from the jump when we did our preseason episode, this receiver room is going to be lacking. It was improved from last year. Last year was horrendous, but it's still not where it should be. Like Peyton was, at the end of the day, he was 5 for 16 in the Iron Bowl. Like that is a real stat. He threw for 31% completion percentage in the Iron Bowl in the biggest game of our season. So stats do matter. Showing up in the big time does matter. We saw that against Georgia, against Ole Miss. Showing up in those big games does matter. So if you can bring in a dude like Riley Leonard who has won those the biggest games you can win in a season, Duke over Clemson. Didn't they beat Notre Dame earlier in the year? Winning those games matter. I'm sorry, they didn't beat Notre Dame. They lost.
Close.
To Notre Dame.
Riley Leonard got hurt in the last drive too. So
right.
That's
he got them literally as far. He willed them to just about
as far as they could go.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you can bring in a guy like that, a guy that knows how to win, and the Arch Manning stuff, dude, he is so good. Like, he is so good, and he's going to be a really good NFL quarterback in a matter of years. So if he gets time at Texas, whether it's next year, but I don't know because Quinn Ewers is returning, or in 2 years down the line, I don't care. He will turn up in college football and will show out wherever he plays in the league because he will be in the league. You guys got any last thoughts about this football season before we turn the page to make it officially basketball season?
Liberty Bowl bound. Let's go. I'm so excited.
as long as it's not Birmingham.
Pretty sure I thought it was Music City Bowl, Nashville.
I would love that too.
That's what I've heard.
Whatever it is, we'll do like a Barstool emergency press conference episode. Strictly Auburn whenever we get a bowl game announcement. Flipping the script to basketball, Auburn with a big win last night over Virginia Tech. Not really sure what a Hokie is, but we got a big win. Auburn's 5-1 to start the season with, I think, 7 games left before conference play. I just want to talk about this team. This team is, in my mind, a little underrated. There's a lot of talent on this front. Connor, you're a huge basketball guy, and you've been our basketball aficionado for a year now. Tell me a little bit about this Auburn team and what we're looking at heading into the second half of out of conference.
Honestly, I am not as high on Auburn basketball as a lot of people are around here, and there's nothing wrong with the team. You know, we've played great. We've played great so far. I think we need to clean up a lot of stuff on offense. We have a great defense, and we have so many guys that are willing to sacrifice themselves on defense, and I love that. Last night, these guys were throwing their bodies at dudes, and just there's so many blocks. There was a lot of steals, a lot of momentum type of plays. But I think that the reason why I don't think we're underrated is because we don't have a quad 1 win yet. I think our best win is St. Bonaventure, and they're going to be quad 2 at best come March. These teams like Virginia Tech and Notre Dame, they're not good teams, and they're going to be in the middle of the pack or the bottom of the ACC. I think USC and Indiana, those 2 games are really important for us, and I think both of those will end up being a quad 1 or quad 2 win. Obviously, we're not going to know who's in a quad until like early January, but we just haven't beat a good team yet. And that Baylor game, it showed that we can't compete with top teams in the country, but we just have to wait, and we have to see how we play against USC.
And the other out-of-conference game I think could turn into a quad 1, quad 2 win is Penn. If my memory serves me right, Penn's been a tournament team a handful of times in the last few years, right?
They go back and forth with Harvard at the Ivy League bid. So, I mean, they're solid. They're always top 10 in the Ivy League.
And quad 1 is what, top 75 teams in the country per KenPom?
Essentially, yeah.
So, very good chance that Penn is also a quad 1, definitely quad 2 win. Eli, Jack, I hope you guys are a little higher on this team like me.
Yeah, I wanna butt in on this one and rival Connor's takes a little bit. So Virginia Tech, they might end up quad 2, but they came in playing before they played Auburn. They came in hot. They were undefeated in ACC play before they played Auburn. So this wasn't like just, this wasn't, I think they were a level above St. Bonaventure. I don't think they just are going to rest in quad 2. I think they're really going to give a run for their money in the ACC. And also, I do agree with you. Our defense, I do think we have an elite defense. I think you look at we have lanky athletic wings, Chaney Johnson, Chad Baker-Mazara. If you're watching the game yesterday, they can switch 1 through 5, and anyone on our team is willing to guard all 5 positions. Like the Virginia Tech's offense, they had multiple off-ball screens last night, and they were getting guys open, but our switching just kept them on lock. So I think, our defense is exceptional. And then that's a perfect situation to be in because our offense is going to come with time. Last night, Aiden Holloway did not make a shot. He went scoreless. He had 2 fouls, couple turnovers, and 0 points. But it didn't matter. We still won by 17, and he's arguably our most pure shooter, pure scorer on this team. If you were at the basketball media day, he made, you would watch him shoot 40-footers, 7, 8 in a row, barely even hitting the net because that's how automatic he is. Once he turns up, this team's really going to be an offensive problem.
I mean, I'm hoping you're right. I hope we really turn up. I hope Aiden turns up come SEC play because this is a team that, this is probably the most solid, well-rounded team that we've seen in our 4 years and the team that has the potential to make real deep runs into the SEC tournament and March Madness. Obviously that 2021 team was stacked with Jabari and Walker, but I think this team is probably the deepest, most well-rounded 10 guys deep. Eli, when Bruce Pearl's teams are good, they're 10, 12 guys deep and can all play. How do you think that mindset and that hard-nosed defense kind of benefits this team moving forward?
Yeah, I think if you look at a lot of teams around, even in the SEC or just all around the nation, they're really good. They have a really good starting 5, and they play really good. But once they get into the later games and more physical games like we saw last night, they tend to kind of drop down a little bit. They don't have depth like we do. So like Jack said, we have guys that can switch and guard anybody. They play all 5 positions. And we have guys like Chaney Johnson, Chad Baker-Mazara, even guys like Chris Moore, who are going to go out there and give you some really good defensive plays and not make a lot of mistakes. I like the way this team plays defense. We saw it last night. We completely locked them down. And like Jack said, I think this offense is going to eventually mesh together. I think if we got to, like Connor said, fix a couple of things, and once Aiden and Denver start fitting their roles a little bit better and see how this offense runs, we'll start see some good play on the offensive side of the ball.
I do want to note that during SEC play, we do see Kentucky at home on a Saturday night.
Ooh,
we also get
that's gonna
Alabama
be a huge game.
Alabama at
Pearlville.
home on a Wednesday night stinks a little bit, but Pearlville will 1,000% be showing up
That
again for the home Kentucky game. And you bet your you-know-whats that Strictly Auburn will be there. And we will
We'll have our
try
own tent.
and do something.
Strictly Auburn
Yeah,
tent.
we'll do a
Come
Strictly
see us.
Auburn tent. Maybe we'll set up a little white table and do some questions
live-
outside the arena. How we feel
That'd
about
be
that?
that game's probably going to be the biggest game. Is looking to be the biggest game on her whole schedule. Kentucky's looking like probably the best team in the SEC right now.
Yeah,
If I would have to say.
100%.
And Tennessee
Easy.
had a bad loss yesterday.
Yeah, they're good, dude. But I think I don't know why, dude, but I like this team this year, just because you look at us and we're only a couple of games in this season, and like Jack said, dude, I feel like this offense is Bruce is gonna figure out what he likes, because it takes him a couple of games. That's why we're rotating so many guys. He'll figure out what kind of like maybe 2 or 3 lineups he likes and what position or what situations he likes those particular guys in. And when he figures that out, I think we'll be really pretty damn good.
I think Auburn, I'm high on Auburn, but I might be even higher on UK. That is by far going to be our toughest test of the year. UK has one of the most loaded freshman classes of all time. Like Reed Shepherd, absolute bucket, homegrown from Kentucky. Rob Dillingham off the bench is unbelievable 6-man. He reminds me of Tyler Eulis back when he played at Kentucky, just a small, shifty guard. Now you mentioned Justin Edwards hasn't even really started clicking yet for Kentucky. He's the number 1 overall prospect from the 2023 class. Then DJ Wagner's been balling. Aaron Bradshaw was injured. He's not even back yet. He's their 7-footer. Kentucky's played almost all their games so far without a 7-footer. They've been playing small ball lineups, and they're still dominating. They're still playing. They're still getting great production out of their freshmen. So I think that is going to be a huge game for Auburn. If Auburn can pull out a win there, we are serious contenders this year. But that's going to be tough.
Let's talk about Janai, man. I mean,
I was going to add. I
let's
just
talk
want to
about
preface this.
we have a pretty good
big
center
men
as well.
The big men this year have been ridiculous. Janai showed up in better shape than last year, ready to go, tested NBA waters, and decided, you know what, I got to come back to Auburn. I want to run this back.
Why would you leave it?
And then Dylan, I mean, Dylan, he's legit, dude. He is legit. I think last year we were like busting his balls a little bit too much, and then this year showed up, and he's a defensive master. I mean, he only puts up, if I had to guess, like 2 or 3 points a night. But dude,
I'll take
on
the 4 or 5 blocks he has.
Oh my god!
The main problem with Dylan is
go for it.
You go ahead, Eli.
Go ahead, Jack. Well, I mean, I was just gonna mention Janai with he almost, he broke his Auburn. Well, I think, did he tie his Auburn career or points? I don't know if he tied it or broke it, but he almost broke his career entire at Morehead State and Auburn points last night. Another double. I think this is his like fourth straight game with 15 points or more. He's an animal. I think he's starting to hit a stride, and come SEC play, I think he's just going to be an absolute monster. He'll probably be one of the best one of the best centers in the SEC for sure.
Yeah,
in the country,
without a doubt.
In the country, yeah.
And I think with Janai, he's getting his groove. I don't even think he's at his purest form yet. Like at the Virginia Tech game last night, there's still multiple open looks at the basket he's blowing. He had a couple of shots that rimmed in and out. I think once those fall, it's going to be a different story. And especially that Kentucky game with their problems with 7-footers right now, he is going to be the key to winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Dylan Cardwell, his backup, Dylan's played great this year. If you listen to the Baylor game, the announcers for that game absolutely loved Dylan. They loved how he played. They loved his energy. But I think the problem with Dylan is going to be staying out of foul trouble. He's very quick to foul. If you see him get in, it's usually a quick 2-3 fouls. So I think if we can get him to stay out of foul trouble, it's a really good front court.
Yeah. One thing that I really want. Go for it. Go ahead, Jake. I was just going to say one thing I really wouldn't mind. I don't think we've seen it yet in the lineup this year. Is putting Janai at a 4 and Dylan at a 5 for a little bit.
Yeah,
there's a reason why Janai is listed as forward. I think that Janai has a lot of perimeter offense, and you can also throw Janai at a short corner and put Dylan at the high post.
Yeah. And Janai's put in the 3-pointer this year.
Really well for a few minutes.
Yeah.
He actually tried one. I think like the first possession of the game. It missed, but I love Janai. Those open looks, I want him to shoot them every time.
Even seeing that confidence of him taking that's just a huge step from last year.
Yeah.
We said it on this show a bunch. We said whether it was Semo, whether it was Jalen Williams, whether it was Janai or whoever, we just wanted play with confidence, like show your stuff. Like if you have an open look, don't hesitate and look for another open pass and try and find, whether it was last year, trying to find Wendell or KD or Trey or whoever else is open. Just shoot. You're a Division I college basketball player. You were recruited here for a reason because you have that ability, that unique ability. So use it.
I think, Go wait.
I agree. But I just want to say this, is that there was a few times last night with Trey and I think Aiden, like multiple times with Aiden, where it was like the most contested shot of all time, and he just throws it up. I hate when that happens. Pass the ball off point 100%. Guards, please.
And you can see that
open looks. I'm talking open looks.
Yeah, you can see that Bruce hates that. Bruce absolutely hates that. Like if you watch the game, Trey and Bruce, I sometimes as a fan, I want to believe they don't get along because every time Trey's in, you have Bruce on his ass. But it's gonna happen.
There's a couple of times where there's a couple of times where you would see one pass and then shoot on the offense, which that really doesn't make I think there was one time where Aiden is taking it down the court, he passes it to Denver and he shoots it. I don't really. I would especially in a game last night when our offense was a little stagnant and we weren't really shooting well. I think we have to set something up and actually run an offense so we can kind of get into a groove and actually see something flow from that. But Aiden missed a couple of. A lot of those shots that Aiden took weren't bad shots, and a lot of them they looked like they weren't falling for Aiden. So he's gonna have nights like that, but he's gonna have nights when they are falling. And if he had a night like that where they were falling, that's 20, 25 points easy.
Well,
him.
I think this Auburn basketball team, I think outside of Connor, we all have pretty high expectations for this squad. And I think that being unranked is a little disappointing at this point in the season. But should this team go 11-2 or 12-1 before SEC play, I think we're having a different conversation in January.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else y'all want to add? Auburn basketball, Auburn football, bowl season, transfer portal, anything before we wrap up?
Riley Leonard, please come to Auburn. That's it.
Yeah, I got one real quick just before we wrap up. Quickly, who do you all think is the X factor this year for Auburn basketball? Who's the guy to watch?
Chad
Aiden
Baker-Mazar.
Aiden Holloway.
Interesting.
I got Chad Baker-Mazar, dude. I've never seen this in an Auburn basketball player personally. He was like ecstatic to just be at Auburn, like to wear an Auburn uniform, and I think that's kind of infectious. He is like loves playing in the jungle, has big defensive stops. I think we were talking about it last night, Connor. He's the type of guy who can go on a crazy sequence of like made three, block, dunk, turnover, another dunk. Like he's that kind of guy, and I think he can be that X factor, and we saw that a bunch last night.
He's almost like a better Alan Flanagan.
No, I don't even think that's a hot take. You know what?
I think,
Connor, tweet that out. Let's get some. Let's see.
Let's run
On it
some
right
feathers.
now.
Yeah, why not?
Go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on Twitter at Strictly Auburn. I think we're gonna start doing some more spaces on there before basketball games, after basketball games. I also think we're gonna do some Spotify only, like audio episodes, no video, because they're much easier to edit. And honestly, they're a lot of fun because we can just chill and hang out and just talk some Auburn sports.
Yeah.
Jack, you're a beast for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure to join you all.
Guys, go follow us. Hell yeah. Go follow us on Twitter at Strictly Auburn. Obviously, if you're watching us on YouTube at Eagle Eye TV, or go listen because this audio will also be on Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, go check us out on YouTube at Eagle Eye TV. I think that's all.
All right.
War
Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.